Very warm Saturday, good evening, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. My name is Arunava Chaudhuri. Welcome back to those of you who are regulars. Welcome to the ones who are maybe new to the channel. And let's talk Indian and international football on this Saturday, the 22nd of August 2026. And at the start, as I always like to say, if you haven't, do please like, do please share, and do please subscribe if you haven't to help me grow the Arun Foot family. And earlier today, I published the interview with Viren De Silva, who's written a book, the first season, in regard to his experiences in regard to the Kerala Blasters. He was the CEO. Actually was a walk down memory lane for me and for Viren, I think, as well. The book was for him, and a lot of thoughts, especially about the game against Kerala Blasters in Kerala. And do watch the interview. I think it's a very insightful, good interview between us. I think both of us enjoyed it, and therefore for me, it's something that I think you should all watch. And I've even posted a short reel version as a reel, and also as a short one here on YouTube as well. Only disappointment, hockey and badminton says Orithro. Hi Shoham, your stream plus Premier League football equal to therapy. Nice. I've been actually not been following, just been seeing the results of the Premier League. I've been actually following more of what's happening in the German Cup, which is also happening today. So that's what I've been following. So let me quickly go through some of the results. And so far, big upset in the early kickoff. Promoted Hull City beat Manchester United 2-0. Everton beat Crystal Palace 2-0. Ipswich Town, promoted Ipswich Town, beat Sunderland AFC. And Nottingham Forest lost 0-1 and to Leeds United. And in about 11 or 10 minutes now, Brentford take on Tottenham. So those are the results from the Premier League. I don't want why boycott India was Brazil. Sort of, to me, Baichung said it. To be very honest, and I will do a separate video on that actually tomorrow at a little bit more length in regard to that. So to me, it's something which I don't agree with, to be very honest, that people are saying, we should boycott, we should do this, we should do that. Boycott is never an answer to the problems of football, right? To me, that is a very, very important thing that I say to anyone and everyone. And to me, I don't know why we're even considering the topic of boycott. Baichung said it. To me, if the so-called Indian football fan doesn't go, then, and so therefore for me, others will go to the stadium. So therefore for me, boycott, never an answer. You decided last minute to come live today. Yes, Shom, there was something that is supposed to happen at 7 p.m. this time today here, which is not happening, which is in about 40 minutes. And then, I thought spontaneously I was actually watching the afternoon matches here in the German Cup. And then I thought, you know what, let me come live. One hit, watch success today. Time for another one. Can you show him? Hull City cooked, yeah. Hull City beating Man United. After all the hype around Man United regarding last season, let's see what happens. I was watching Eredivisie, which isn't telecast on Eurosports. I don't understand. In India, Eredivisie is broadcast Syria. Find so hard to get broadcasters. Shom, it is about the money that the problem of the Indian Super League, so to say. The league in the Netherlands most probably is fine of getting it broadcasted. I don't even know if Eurosports pays them anything or just gives them a sort of a token amount as license fee. Serie A wants something, La Liga wants something, Bundesliga wants something, the Premier League wants certain figure, and if they don't get it, then they might say, like the Indian Super League, okay, I will see what I can do, see how it's happened. And therefore, for me, it's not always so easy to get a broadcaster. So therefore, that's the challenge that we have, right? With any of these leagues, X, Y, Z. It doesn't matter which league we're talking about. And so therefore, for me, um, that's an interesting. I'm just seeing, for example, here what something is being offered here on my channel, which is like Serie A pre-match live from Internazionale versus Monza. Okay, so the thing is, different leagues do different things differently now, and they're trying to build on it, right? So that's the thing, which is becoming more and more interesting to see. If India Brazil fails, ISL isn't happening. I don't think Babalu's animation that is directly linked. It's more of a lot of things that the AFF does. Those things might not happen. So let's look at differently. Maybe the national youth championships, maybe the IWL might be in danger, right? I don't think the ISL, I don't think the IFL is in danger in different ways, because I think the question is, are the clubs going to do what is needed? And yeah, that's the reality. Then increase your time of video, like make a 15-minute video. Your videos time is too low. Shoham, um, the thing is, I think 15-minute videos are a little too long. Um, Time span which you normally should do videos are between 6 and 8 minutes. That's sort of what I've learned over time. Hi, Utsav. Good evening. Just want to know your thoughts on Musiala situation, overall workload management in general. Utsav, the Musiala situation, so the problem is that Musiala has been having issues for a while, um, and the club was aware of it, and in their way have taken care of it in the best possible way. And To me, when I saw it last weekend, when the first collapse happened against Leipzig, and then a few days later against Hoffenheim, I think myself and all football fans were very, very worried that a player like Jamal Musiala was facing such kind of a situation. And when the club came out very strongly with the statement, and so therefore, and I think that there was a clear statement yesterday from Vincent Company and Max Eberl from a club perspective about the whole situation. And there is a health issue which is involved in it. Change of medication, supposedly. That's how the club has now tried to explain it. And Musiala has the full support of the club. The club is not signing any alternative players. So therefore, they're aware. The doctors in Munich are assessing things, and he's not part of the Super Cup squad tonight. So that's one of the things that has happened. And yeah, so therefore we'll have to wait and see what happens. Should we reduce matches, or do you think more matches means we could give chance to young guy? Utsav, I don't know if there are two sides to this story, and it's a very difficult one in my opinion, because when we look at things, you know, is the workload too heavy? I don't know. You know, um, the game of football over the last 5 to 10 years has become much more physical, right? So football is not the same as it was, yeah, 20, 30 years ago, right? So let's be very clear. The players are physically much more fitter. And I remember there was something that Vincent Kompany said yesterday in the pre-match press conference here in Germany ahead of the Super Cup against Borussia Dortmund. He said, you know what? In the past, when players used to go on holiday, they didn't do anything, right? They literally let the engine go down and had to up again themselves in preseason. Nowadays, the players are going with physical trainers and other things into the mid-season, are actually fit to preseason. So those are some of the factors. Have the matches increased? Listen, the Bundesliga has the same number of matches, so there is no increase. The Bundesliga has 34. The Premier League, Serie A, La Liga, Liga have all 38 matches. Yes, there have been an increase in Champions League matches, right? There are two more matches. There is one extra match in the World Cup if you're getting deep into the tournament. Um, and so, therefore, from that perspective, and if you see, most of the teams don't have a playing 11. They have a squad of 15, 18, 20, 22, 24 players. So young guys get their chance. If they're good, they're going to get their chances. But on the other side is, right, you don't have just one good or two good center backs. Yeah. And let's wait and see what happens. Leon Goretzka to Aston Villa, your thoughts? Sure, I'm still surprised that of course, Leon Goretzka's salary demands have been quite high in the last few months after it became known that he's going to leave Bayern Munich. But to me, Leon Goretzka is one of the best sort of midfielders in the German system, and therefore, for me, you know, I'm not sure if the pace and physicality is something which will fit him. But Goretzka is a quality player, so if he goes to Villa, good option for them, right? I think he fainted because of heat. Sometimes it happens if players are not well hydrated. No, sure, it wasn't issue, so it's yeah, nothing to do with heat. What do you think about tomorrow final World Cup? Well, to me, um, on paper, Mohun Bagan look clearly the stronger of the two teams. If I look at the Indian squad, if I look at the foreigners, but both teams aren't settled yet. The ground, if I want to or need to talk about it, is an issue. Um, so that's something which needs to be sort of considered in our conversations, in our discussions. So therefore, for me, but again, it's a final. Um, 90 minutes. It's a derby. Anything can happen. Just one second. I'm just realizing once again this connectivity issue. Right. Okay. I hope this connectivity is now better. So for me, it's a 50-50 match, even though maybe 51-49 for Mohun Bagan, but um, yeah, it's a derby, so anything can happen. Why is Bengal going behind some Mohamed Sanan? They already have a lot of wingers. He might get less game time there. Mahesh, if your logic of hey, XYZ player is going to get less game time here or there, um, you know, for me, very simple. That's not a logic that the players are going after no, at the moment, right? So the whole problem in this whole conversation that we could have is why did X player go there? Why did Y player go there? Because they're going there, right? They're going to those clubs. So for me, Mohamed Sanan seems to be, and I take the comment from Bablu's animation as well. Monban has been going after Sun is concerned. He will be benched in both teams. So for me, if I ask Mahesh or Bablu's again, I heard that Mumbai City were also going after the player, and so let's wait and see. To me, uh, you know, so therefore for me, I think there are even one or two other clubs who could be interested in him. Let's wait and see. Does he go for money? Does he go for game time? And that's the question at the end of the day, right? We are all speaking about Mohamed Salah as a very talented player, but he has to take the next step. Is the next step going to Kolkata and not playing? Right? If I'm looking at Mohun Bagan, I've got Changte, I've got Manvir, I've got Liston. None of them have been released so far on loan or something. So some of the others. East Bengal also has, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. Do you have any Kerala Blasters updates? Ajlan, nothing at this moment in time as I speak to you. The situation is the same. Supposedly, a consortium set to take over the club. price has supposedly been agreed. Um, but there's no clarity, at least publicly, where the price is. But as the matter of the original owners is, or company issues are in the Supreme Court, they need to clear it. That hasn't been cleared. Hopefully, that happens some stage next week. Because I think the Blasters need now the time to. Um, I think there are people in the background waiting to build a team. So let's wait and see what happens. Heard that SLK is going to implement point system similar to J League. Okay, Marsha, I haven't heard that. I wouldn't know. Is it related to heart problems or was it something else? No, it's not. It's not a heart problem. It's something else. I wouldn't even know how to explain it in English. Do you support the other on World Cup or Euro year players should get long holiday like 1.5, 2 months? No. You don't get 1.5 months holidays. I don't know where you're getting on 2 months. 2 months holidays would end the end. If you're saying 2 months holidays, let's say you've played in the World Cup final, right? That was what 19th July, I think, right? What was it? 19th July was the final of the FIFA World Cup. Let me check. Yeah, 19th July was the final of the FIFA World Cup. That means you're going to give the player holiday till 19th September, meaning the player then joins preseason on the 20th of September, meaning that you give him 4 weeks of preseason or 3 weeks of preseason. So you mean that the season starts in October? Not happening. It's so unrealistic. I don't know where you've heard this, but then you can shut down football. Luca Junior signs for Sporting Club Delhi. Here we go. So show him Punjab have signed Messi Boli. I saw that post that Messi Boli, after having played for Jamshedpur and East Bengal, now is set to play for Punjab FC. So he's the replacement for Effiong at Punjab FC. Also, I see manager complain why players get little fat when they come back from the support manager player point of view. Also, I think the days where managers complain about fat players, those days are gone, right? And this was in the past used to be, uh, you know, um, used to be a big topic. It used to be a big topic that players were unfit. But again, as I say yesterday, Vincent Company very clear said, listen, he gave the example of Luis Diaz, where he said, you know what, the guy has come back to preseason training and he's totally fit. He'll need a few days to adjust and he's ready to go, right? So therefore, for you, again, football has become much more physical and the players have become much more aware. You don't switch off for 6 weeks, um, eat, sleep, party. No, you eat, sleep, maybe do a little bit of party here and there, but you also have your personal trainer or you've got your personal systems in there, uh, you know. And to me, that's why, and it even happens at lower level. Now I see coaches here in Germany, friends of mine who are coaching sixth, seventh, eighth tier. Where they're giving the players homework, right, in regard to their tracking. If, are they, how much are they running? What are they doing? So therefore, even in amateur level, lower level football over here, players are much, much fitter than even the pros used to be 20, 30 years ago, right? So that's changed. Even in Indian context, see some of the posts of our players on holiday. Yeah, national training. Like being professional, enjoying holidays, family, or not eating strict diet. I think itself a lot of players are very, they have their cheat days, but they know what they can do or don't do, right? And those who don't do it, I think our best example was Niklas Süle. He used to play at Dortmund, at Bayern, and Hoffenheim. Niki Süle, for example, used to love his burgers, and he has, and uh, so therefore, and you know, he's just ended his career. He's now playing amateur football for the fun of it because he had a huge problem with his diet and couldn't cope. Mohun and East Bengal rivalry is good for Indian football. Oh yes, surely it is the biggest rivalry in Indian football that we have, right? But is it of the level and Shom, you have a point over here. So do you feel is Mohun Bagan East Bengal rivalry same like past as it right? To me, it is less than it was in the past. So if we're interlinking it, for me, it's a crazy one to think, but that's the reality of where we are. And to me, um, the rivalry is nowhere near where it was, right? It's dried up. Yeah, you would say, okay, there's more of a European style fan culture in there, but I don't know. I don't know. Those of you who are, if someone is in Kolkata, just like tell me if you feel any bit of that rivalry at the moment, in with these two clubs, which I'm failing to see at the moment. But yeah, but to me, we need that rivalry, but that rivalry needs to be also lived and all. There's a certain level of, I don't know. I can't explain to you. Something for me is missing, or some quite a bit of it is missing actually. What happened with Inter Kashi FC and Kerala Blasters recruitment? Poco, first of all, the sales or the new investments needs to come in first, no? Before we can talk about player recruitment and other things. I think that it's like last season when the other club, um, you know, so therefore for me, I think if the teams are clear and they realize that by the 31st of August deals are not done, that they would most probably talk to certain players and say, listen, we're coming in, we're going to sign you, we're going to do this. They might try and get a free release of players. There are still a lot of players on the market, so that you then have to try and build a team like that. I've heard that again from someone that the Blasters want to continue with Ashley Westwood, which to me makes sense. Ashley Westwood was brilliant when he came in last season to the Blasters. So therefore, we'll have to wait and see what they do. But both these teams again need to sort out their investment. East Bengal, at least now, yesterday was confirmed that Imami is continue as a sponsor, so their pressure has gone down a certain level. But Imami is not funded for the season, so that has to also be kept in mind and remembered as well. Right, nearly 13 minutes. Sorry, 23 minutes now. Quick reminder: if you haven't, please do like, please do share, please do subscribe to Arun Foot here on YouTube. If you haven't, please do that. 10 likes so far. I think we can do a little bit better than that. And if you haven't, and you're listening, you're liking it, please subscribe to the channel. 4,761 is the current number. Thank you very, very much, everybody. And so we crossed finally. We were in the last 4 or 5 days, always between 4,759 and 4,754. So it was going up and down, up and down. Seems to have crossed that. So we have now 239 to reach the 5,000 mark. And um, special interview I did yesterday, which I've published today with Virendra Silva about his time as CEO of the Kerala Blasters. I think insightful, very insightful conversation with Viren. The link also in the article to buy his book. I think it should be a very, very good read. And also, yeah, yesterday I spoke. Interesting. What I've been seeing today is that I yesterday did a video on if YouTube is a good platform or not on to show the Indian Super League, and it seems to be that a lot of people seem to have um, the views don't show it, but it seems like it's a topic that a lot of content creators seems to have picked up from me in the last couple of days. Germany should take Kevin Schade. What a baller is. Tom, we have attacking wise, we've got a lot of options, and Kevin Schade getting in. Let's see, a lot of players, a lot of options. Ronaldo is coming out of retirement. What's yours? From Serie A. Let's see. He's a co-owner of a club. Uh, you know, uh, so therefore, for me, at his age, again, one of the best players of his generation, surely. And it was a delight to watch Ronaldinho play, and uh, uh, you know, so therefore, let's see where we are. Yeah. So therefore, um, let's see if he's good enough for uh, Serie A for the third tier of Italian football. I feel just that fans fight sometimes, but on pitch, I don't see a lot of that now. Sure, I don't know where the fans fight. We hear more about it. I don't feel that it is. Yeah, it's more of pseudo fights, right? In the past, it used to be real fights. On the pitch, also, where we um, a lot of the play, and not in the past as well. They used to be friends, right? Even though uh, you know. So let's see what it is. Hi, almost 15 years ago, I had seen a CFL coach handing out detailed weekly schedule to the players what drills, what diet, etc. Yeah, there were coaches in the past who used to do it. Now it's with technology available, you can track a lot. A lot is done. So therefore things have changed. So for me, um, you know, um, if I see here, I gotta say lower level football nowadays, and so therefore, yeah. So it's the world has changed. Let's be very clear. Sir, can we include strategy time like cricket in ISL? I mean, time for ads shown on TV and streams because it's tough in football match. I don't know, Vikas, what strategy time is in cricket. So again, I don't follow cricket, so you would have to explain to me what that is. The only thing is what FIFA has started is hydration break in the World Cup, and we already have our 1 minute drinks break. So yeah, is already there, right? So therefore there is that break. So and I think it stays. First 4 years, ISL was hit stadiums were full. What else it did wrong that they not kept the consistency? Shantaram, the problem is that the AFF didn't do anything wrong because the AFF weren't doing the ISL. And if you're saying for 4 years the league was full, I wouldn't say. I would say for 3 years. I would even say that the biggest hype, again, I'm not saying this because I was involved in it, but I still feel that the first season of the Indian Super League was the one which had the biggest, by far the biggest, uh, you know, and so therefore for me, I would say that. And what the FF in the last couple of years has done wrong is that they didn't fight in the Supreme Court to keep Reliance as their commercial partner when the topic cropped up in the Supreme Court. Very, very simple to me. It did not crop up. They didn't sort it out. And that is the biggest problem. Simple. So therefore, um, you know, so for me, you know, that is where we stand at this moment in time. And the ISL, some have called it now ISL 2.0. The ISL 2.0 has to be better, right? So we need to figure out how this new Indian Super League needs to be better and stronger, because otherwise things will not work. For me, that's the biggest thing. The new Indian Super League needs to needs to push, and they need to also make some tough decisions if they like it or not. So to me, yeah, that's the challenge that we have at the moment. Are the ISL Cup thinking about floating a new YouTube page and broadcast matches to get a sense of viewership? But who will produce? For that, you need money. And that's the question that I think they need to figure out and talk to Google and see what they can do. Because to me also there's a big question which, I've seen all these people writing about it and some videos as well where people are talking about it, where I realize as guys, yeah, reach is one thing. The clubs need to generate money, because who will produce? That's the thing, but who will pay for the production, right? So therefore, there's that thing. For first 4 years of us was not real hip for Indian football. I don't know why that is to you, Shoham. In future, would you consider writing a book about your experience in Mumbai City or Punjab FC? Um, Utsav, yes. I was talking to Viren about it, and I said, and I know it from others who were involved in season one of the ISL. There's a lot that can be talked about. Um, yeah, so therefore, it's be it at Mumbai, yeah, Punjab as well to some extent, but there's so many things that I could write that where I've been involved in the last 28, 29 years, um, in Indian, European, global football. I think I could do a whole series of books about experiences, right? But to me also, there's a lot of things that I've experienced, I've seen, where I would say, you know what, those experiences are very, very personal, and I wouldn't want to sort of push them out into a public domain, because a lot of these things are very personal, and I wouldn't want to, so to say, speak about things in that way. First 4 years of Asa is more like done to advertisement and all that. All like at halftime, there were people just coming and taking, you know, again, first three. But again, I don't know why you guys getting on with this 4-year thing. Um, yeah, in first three, I would have said. Also saw our curious Harry and Dhanraj floating new reels about the condition of Indian football, which is, I think, if you know, I think we all know where Indian football and the conditions are and where the problems are. I think if anyone questions that, then he or she hasn't been around. So to me, it's worth a conversation. And to me, the question is, um, uh, where do we stand? And where is it, um let's see where we go. We dropped a video 4 hours back saying he wants to win the World Cup for India. So Oritra, how can you win a World Cup, which is a football festival? So, you know um yeah. So again, for me, guys, stop watching those videos. Don't give him views. That is my easiest example, because all this rubbish is being, listen, that's a football festival, you can't win it. Brentford scored. Spurs are playing like they have played for championship from champion. What? Spurs are playing like they have come from championship utter domination from Brentford. Okay. I remember Gaurav Bora almost scored bang against David James and commentator with mad over it. Okay. Once when it's drink break, either you can show 3, 4 advertisement, not bad, and then you can use those box of tickers all throughout the match without stopping the game. Oh, true. Yeah, you can. I mean, there are means and ways of showing advertisement if you want to use it. To me, there are always possibilities, to use advertising. And to me, you know, so therefore, for me, that's the thing that needs to be looked at. Um, so therefore, but again, the hydration break during the World Cup made sense. You know, um, so. But does it make sense in a normal league system in Europe? I don't think so. If you ask me, I would be skeptical about that. But yeah, that's the reality of things, and therefore let's see um, what happens, um, and what is you know. Said you liked an Ashwin Mushram post controversy involved. I don't know about any controversy. I've gotten to know Ashwin and his wife in Mumbai during my time there. Lovely, lovely guy, lovely couple. Is it necessary evil for Indian football? No, Pratik. Unnecessary. It's an unnecessary thing. You don't need people to sell you fake dreams. We need to come to reality. If the work is not done, if the groundwork is not done in Indian football, we will never be successful. That's the whole point, in my opinion. That's the problem. Is so yeah. That is what is needed. Are we getting there? Are we understanding what we need to do? I have my doubts. Hugely have my doubts. Recent moments since Northeast. I don't know from. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I think a lot of people in India don't realize when they make racist remarks. That's a real problem in India. One second, let me put the lights on because it's getting a little dark over here outside. So for me, racism is something which, in an Indian context, I was talking about it a couple of days back with someone. Right? There's not the knack of understanding, especially also in sports, what racism is about, and therefore for me, it's a big point of talk. It's a big talking point, and to me, if we don't do the right things, it's always a um, for me, it's a big thing to see what can happen or should happen, and um, you know, so yeah, realities of where we stand. Vinay Venkatesam is CEO of Spurs, by the way. Yeah, Sean. Yeah. I've met him. Used to be formerly with Arsenal, and he's with Spurs now. In Indian weather, February to May and US summer hydration break is needed. Same for many countries in Southeast Asia with their tropical climate. Orchard, very true. And not only that, even in our European summers, when it does get warmer, right? In Europe, the temperatures is where, in but um, they say above 25 degrees to have hydration breaks, which normally makes sense. At the moment, it doesn't. At the moment, for example, it's just 16 degrees outside, but when it is warmer, it simply makes sense. And to me, um, it is something which is in regard to players' welfare, player safety, also health safety, also. So therefore, the hydration breaks in hotter weather make sense. The question is, of course, we can discuss it in an Indian Super League context, because in Indian Super League context, the drinks break, the 1 minute drinks break, is actually there through the season. So, for example, in December, January, Feb, do you need the drinks break in Delhi, or do you just need the drinks break, let's say, in Goa, in Kerala, in Chennai, where the temperature is hot? So, for example, for an Indian football, I would say, listen, if the temperature around 30 degrees, it's actually not warm. For a player from somewhere else, 30 plus. So let's say, or for a person like me, 30 plus degrees is too warm, right? So therefore, that needs to be kept in mind. Baichung Bhutia is wrong to call for a boycott of Brazil match. Why is he becoming so negative? Avi, I don't know if he's becoming negative. Um, I think with Baichung, what it is, it's not about negative. It's everything is anti-Kalyan, right? With Bhutia, the one thing is that um, I think it still hurts him that he lost to him 4 years ago in the AFF elections. That still is in him. Um, Again, if Kalyan was doing good things, maybe Baichung wouldn't be saying the things that he says, because then you're not in a position to say those things, because things would have been um, seen differently, analyzed differently. But Kalyan, of course, has done the things the way he's done, and he's done a lot of things wrongly, badly, and that has given the thing for Baichung to say. But to me, as I totally agree, and I'll make a video about it tomorrow in a little more detail to speak about it. That should Indian football fans actually boycott India Brazil? Because to me, and um, if we as Indian football fans don't go, the Salt Lake Stadium this way or that way will be full, because someone or the other is going to go, right? So to me, the question doesn't arise of the so-called Indian football fan doing a boycott. Indian football fan can do a boycott. There are enough people who will go to watch it, and and so therefore for me, um, so therefore yeah, and this call from Bhutia makes no sense. And the fun one is, I think, I don't know who was this. Acha, yeah, Sagar from Candid Football said, "Oh, Baichung should call on the Indian players, should talk to the Indian team players, and they should boycott." And this shows you, sorry, Sagar, total ignorance of the thing. If Baichung Bhutia would and I ask you this question, would Baichung Bhutia ask Baichung Bhutia the player to boycott a match to play against Brazil? Baichung Bhutia the player would be the first one to say, you know what, we need to play Brazil. That's the reality, right? That's the reality. So Sagar, please, don't put out these statements which, sorry, don't make any sense. You know, um, right? Don't make the discourse, which is already bad. You know, and yeah, it again, boycotts. And I've said this in the past. Also, when Indian football was playing bad, 2 years, 1 year ago, whatever, under Khalid Jamil. No, what will a boycott do? You need to be supporting your team. Organize your protest at the ground. Put up banners. Put this. Talk about it. But don't turn your back on your club or on your national team by protest. For example, to me, um, sorry, um, Kerala Blasters, the Manjapara, I don't think it's the right way to do it. Just not turning up doesn't help. So, yeah. Now, might have produced some talents in the past, but multiple ISL clubs today have better youth development than ever. Not only ISL, even IFL, other IFL teams are better. So, why every ex-Indian player who are now in some kind of role in IFL doing these things? So, you would have to ask them. And it was very interesting then yesterday evening to see a statement from I'm Vijan, who's looking forward to seeing Brazil in India, and he said, and Vijay was very honest, right? He said, "Listen, if I would have gotten a chance, I would have loved to have played against Brazil," and that is, to me, At least he's honest about it. Right. So the problem is Baichung Bhutia now, as an ex-player, what he says, and I'm sure Baichung Bhutia, the player, if he was even captain of India, would have loved to have captained India against Brazil. Period. So therefore, I can't take it away if a Gurpreet or a Sandesh or a whoever else, all these players are interested to play against Brazil. And if you would ask the players, are you more interested to play Brazil or are you more interested to play the ASEAN Cup? Of course, they'll be more interested to play Brazil. ASEAN Cup, those teams you can play, you will play. Brazil, India has never played. So from a player's perspective, that one-off against Brazil might be the biggest highlight of your footballing career, even though it's just a friendly. That needs to be has to be taken into account. Sir, in India, is there any situation which a stadium which is situated higher altitude than 1, 2, 2, 3 K feet? Sure. Ladakh, Srinagar, I think, would be higher than that. What is the height of Srinagar? Let me check. So Srinagar is at an altitude of, for you, about 5,200 feet. So it's 1,500, it's about 1,600 meters. Yeah. So there are stadiums higher than that altitude. My question to Bhutia will be, how many Indian football fans are there? Do they really care about Indian football? I don't think anyone will listen to what Bhutia is saying. Sure, there are surely the one or the other person who will listen to him. But the question here is, if the Indian football fan doesn't go for the match, let's just speak about the Indian football fan, XYZ, whoever the Indian football fan is. There are enough Brazil fans in India. And I said this yesterday, there are enough people who are willing to come from outside India, Indian origin people who want to come and watch Brazil against India. So your problem of filling up that 67,000 seater stadium is not there. The question is, if the Indian football fan doesn't turn up, it will be a away game for India in India. Do we understand that? A boycott of Indian football fans means that people will come to the stadium, will pay for the ticket, who are Indians who will rather support Brazil than support their own team. Do we? Yeah, I think, and that is the crazy one. I don't know. I'm sorry. I might, I sometimes feel, am I surrounded just by ignorant people, by clueless, knowledgeless people, and all these kind of things? You know. So what to say? These things are so logical. Doesn't X Y Z again? And sometimes I know certain people who will tell you things in public, and when they talk to you in private, they will say something totally different. That's the problem. So therefore, for me, uh, that's one of our biggest issues. And knowledge, Indian football and knowledge is the biggest problem in my opinion. And um, yeah, I don't know if we can sort it out in some sort of way, but to me, it's a big problem, right? And I don't know if we can get it sorted in some sort of form way or not. And um, yeah, realities of things. If we lose to Brazil, 1-0 would be something, a match to be remembered for. Orithro, to me, as I said now multiple times, if we lose 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, yeah, um, you know, and all of those will be more memorable. If we lose 4-6-0 or 7, even 7-0, I would say, TK, fine, can happen. More than that would be embarrassing, but again, it is possible, right? So therefore, that's the reality. I feel he said that playing against Brazil is not bad, but it came at wrong time because we had to draw from ASEAN Cup. No, I show him again. Sorry, again. You have a feeling on this, you have a feeling on that. If you don't know the people, then he knew what he was saying. He knew exactly what he was saying, and it's not about the wrong time and all that stuff. He also put in the money factor and this and that and everything, where Baichung has not even understood that 50, 70, 80, 100 crore, whatever figure, that we're talking about, that figure is something which is out of our sort of remit in discussion, right? To me, the main point in this whole discussion regarding this game is as I said in regard to the Messi tour, or even when if the Argentina match was being discussed for Kerala or the Argentina Venezuela match in 2011, this is all money which is being spent on a football game or a celebrity coming in, which is money which was not going to Indian football anyway. So this premise, Baichung has the premise of saying, money is being pulled out of the system which could have been spent differently. Very true. But this money which is coming in, you know, um, the point is this is money which is not supposedly coming into Indian football. So if you listen to what he says on phone 20 grams, Baichung, for example, says, hey, listen, East Bengal was playing ACL 2, the government should help them in 15, 20 crores. Why should the government help, Bhutia? It is East Bengal's job to have enough money to be able to play that competition. If they can't, So let's wait and see, right? I'm very interested to see Khalid's strategy against Brazil. Ochut, defensive would be my my thought. Defensive. Maybe ultra defensive would be my thought. Ochut, anything else to say? Khalid's best coach for Brazil game. There are so many people asking for India Brazil match tickets. How are you doing today? Yes, Vikram. Yeah, that's how the Premier League started. Um, Today, Hull City 2-0 against Man U, Everton 2-0 against Crystal Palace, Ipswich 2-1 against Sunderland, didn't expect that. Leeds winning at Nottingham Forest, Anton Stach, 88-minute winner. That's a big one. And Brentford, after 34 minutes, leading 2-0 against Tottenham Hotspurs. Lewis Potter with the first and Vitaly Janelt with the second. So quite a number of German players in the Premier League scoring. Kai Havertz had been the first scorer yesterday, and so it is Anton Stach and Vitaly Janelt who've also scored in the Premier League so far. I've contacted many Thai Malaysia people. They literally laugh when some stupid thing with pass person. Yeah, but so again, I don't follow enough Malaysian, Thai, Indonesian football or something. An Indonesian friend always says, I said, don't follow Southeast Asian football because most of the comments are ridiculous, you know. And so therefore, if they laugh about us, most probably if you and I would follow a little bit more of theirs, we would most probably laugh at that as well. It's just that our standard of football is just worse. So what do you think? Can we give tough fight to Brazil or answer victory for Brazil? Because I think we'll give them a fight. But is that fight good enough for us? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know. The question is, how do the Brazilians take the game? Right? What are the results against Australia? I think will be very important. They played Australia twice before coming to India, and and so therefore for me that's something. And yeah, let's wait and see. So no idea. Where, as I say, it could be a 3-1. It could also be 8, 9, 10, maybe. The difference is just too big between Brazil and India, right? That's also reality if I like it or not. Brazil wants to beat some team by a 7-1 margin and exercise the ghost of 2014. Thus, they agreed to the India match. Or they will never be able to exercise the ghosts of 2014. It's the 7-1 is part of the Brazilian language of the Brazilian psyche. And if you get beaten 7-1 by Germany, you will not be able to get rid of that if you beat India by 7-1, right? So therefore, might be funny for some people to think, but doesn't work. Hey, Roshan, Bachu, put your comment about 30 crore expense in West Bengal. Totally exaggerated. Roshan, I don't know what the West Bengal government will pay. Because your problem is if there are shortfalls, the West Bengal government, in its own interest, in its own self-interest, this match needs to be a success, right? Not for Kalyan Chaubey now, but for West Bengal state, for Kolkata as a city. So therefore, if the West Bengal government has to spend more than those 30 crores, they will be spending it. Don't forget, this match, for a lot of people, is a PR exercise also. So therefore, especially West Bengal government, the chief minister, the sports minister, all of them will ensure that this match is done, organized in a proper way. Because otherwise, they have a problem. And I think they cannot afford. So therefore, yeah, it's um, yeah. So therefore, that needs to be kept in mind. I hope PM and Sportsman attends the match will lose 8-9-0. Maybe it will bring more attention from mainstream media. Utsav, I don't think, again, they come. If they come, again, if they come, it's also a security matter in and around the Salt Lake Stadium. I think for the general football fan, it's going to be a mess. And again, what's the point of if they lose 8-9-0, what will they take? Oh, I'm har gaya. So have they bothered about our losses in the past? No, they don't care. Take these matches or visit of any Super Bowl or watching some kind of concert. Yeah, in a different way, yes. It's global celebrities coming to visit you. Very true. What do you say about SC Delhi performance in Duran Cup? Rahul, as I've not seen the matches live, I've just seen the results and some highlights. For me, it's very difficult to comment on any performance of XYZ club. I've not seen a match live. So therefore, if I don't see a match live, for me, it's very difficult to comment because I could have perceptions that, oh, this thing went this way, that thing that way, but then it was different, you know. Um, so therefore, for me, I don't have a comment for you on that because yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you how good or how bad is this. So therefore that's the reality. All right, 52 minutes plus. If you haven't, please do like, please do share, please do subscribe. Help Arun Foot to grow further. 4,761 is the current number. As I said earlier today, we crossed that threshold, which seemed to be 4,715, 54 to 59. It seemed to last 3-4 days. It seems to be going up and down, up and down. We're now at 4,761, so 239 to reach the 5,000 mark. And yeah, please keep on helping Arun Foot. I need that support for me to help to grow. 14 likes on the video. I think, guys, we can do better. With Duran Cup over, will the men's national team probably have match practice before the Brazil game? Also, clubs, are gathering teams. I'm seeing that across the league. As you might have seen, Mumbai City yesterday, Carlos Delgado was introduced as a Mumbai City player today to the fans. So all of that is happening. So that I think most of the teams are starting their training, and therefore that's where we stand. Again, I think the Provincials will most probably meet some stage second week. Maybe if they do it early first week, if the clubs allow, of September, maybe second week, maybe even as late as third week. And practice matches, I have no clue what they're going to do. I think there's a lot of speculation. From what I understand, Cape Verde is never done. Uruguay doesn't seem to be an option. So there are talks about 6th of October because I don't see anyone being available for the September dates because around the world all matches are playing. And so that's the reality. Sarah was watching video of FC Arkadak, not that. Utsav, Arkadak. Arkadak FK, actually. I don't know why the FC calls them FC Arkadak, but it's after that football club that was owned by XPM and they have major corruption against if they are doing it and Bengal government does inject some money. I don't mind. Utsav, see you are, I saw some video. I was watching a video, and this is the problem. Who's made the video? What is the premise of the video? You're talking about Turkmenistan, right? So again, guys, you can watch as much as you want as content, read as much as you want, but if you don't know what is the reality, you know, let's wait and see. If East Bengal somehow do well in AFCL to indirectly would help the city, don't you think? No. Does PM even cares about football? Ask him any football related question you won't be able to answer. So you try and do that. And the Brazilian murals of Kolkata walls have not yet been washed out. I presume good reviews. Oh, so that's a nice one. That's a nice one. Yeah, there's going to be a massive craze around Brazil, and that will be. I've said that to a few people that will be one of the biggest questions, in my opinion, is that hey, listen, can you really, when ensure that doesn't go totally crazy? I'm really surprised by Sportsman's statement, Mister, which has no interest in football, knows nothing of sport, can be said to make statement after analysis. Yeah, Shanata, that's and about boycotting, I'm really not interested in match. So as usual, like happening for months in Indian football, I would support community boycott no match and match, nothing word to me. See, and that is Shanlata, you are wrong. And this is where I say whoever calls no boycott. Boycott is never the answer. So and doesn't matter if it's done by you or by someone else. Um, to me, the biggest problem is that we're talking about how does this work, and to me, you know, um, um, to me, the biggest problem is here. Um, boycotting a match, what does it bring? I mean, honestly, the game will be sold out. If the organizers do not do basic things wrong, that match will be sold out. If people don't turn up, yeah, then other people will come, right? And to me, there will be more Brazilian fans anyway at the stadium, right? If you ask me, that's to me that's a given. It's not even a question. I feel right. So let's see where we go. It's my personal opinion, sir. We also have decent defense. I mean, 10-0 in Kolkata, hot humid condition, I don't think. Because the span is possible, right? It could be just a 1-0 where we put in everything, we play the match of our lives. Could be possible, could be a 3-1, a 4-1, but it could go up. If they score 3-4 early goals, we totally collapse. It can be 10. So I'm just saying that that's the span. So can you please check Turkmenistan's schedule? I can't check the schedules because at the moment, most of the schedules around the world, for whatever reasons, are not really available online. Is it true that SAF countries are asking FIFA to recognize the SAF template as the FIFA SAF Cup? Yes, the SAF, the South Asian Football Federation has done that, has gone to FIFA and said, can you make us um, uh, um, your um, um, South Asian version of the ASEAN Cup. The only problem is, in my understanding, was that be it the FIFA Arab Cup, right? That is a North African Gulf sort of tournament, right, in that region. The FIFA ASEAN Cup is not the original um, ASEAN Championship, which just finishes, right? So therefore, I'm not sure. Could it work? It could work, but the question is then, FIFA again. FIFA would cover costs. FIFA would help you with logistics and this and that. For SAF, it would make sense. But again, let's see what they do. When the OCA player is coming, Prasuya, wait for it. It is not coming tomorrow or day after. This will take time, right? I've said this. I always tell people if you want to know the timeline, I did a video 3 months ago, 1499 in my video timeline. So therefore, for me, what's that video where I said it might take up to 2 years? I said that in May. I stick to that. It might take up to May 2028. ISL Women League again delayed. AFF never doing anything. Still same mistake. Shanata, there is no ISL Women League. It's IWL. So first of all, get your, you know, um, you know, um, so therefore for me, and no, they're not doing the same mistake. Shanata, if you or anybody likes it or not, I said that yesterday. Indian women's football has been the most successful in the last year, right? Um, so therefore, for me, where is the corporate sponsors come forward to support Indian women's football? Where is it? Not even one, right? And I know at least that there were some efforts to try and convince people, um, right? So for me, um, yeah, that's the reality. FF doesn't have money. Everybody is forgetting that in the last 15 years, Reliance was pumping in money into the Indian football ecosystem, which was feeding the system to run, right? So therefore, that is a sad reality, it's a dead reality, right? At the moment, it's a dead reality that we are no longer able to fund things, you know? And so therefore, that's the thing. So for me, um, none of that is happening. I saw the discussion with Viren. Thank you for that. Welcome, Yasu. One thing I'm proud of is the Telugu film actors funding Kerala Blasters since inception. They're quiet about it and they don't take credit. Very true. And in today's football, in today's Indian football, we lack people like Viren. Honestly, Viren, you know, is one of those guys who sitting over the table discussing things during the first season of the ISL was really fun, right? So to me, these are the kind of people we lack in Indian football, and the next time I'm in, hopefully in Mumbai, I can pick up a copy of his book, and we can have a conversation about it over a coffee or a tea, uh, you know, uh, you know, you know. So therefore, for me, yeah, that's the thing. Very interested to see how many people turn up wearing a Brazil jersey at the stadium. Uchit, in a normal case, I would fear more people than wearing India jersey, right? 2:1. I would say that more than 40,000 will wear a Brazil jersey. Okay, not even 2:1. I don't even know how many people wear an India jersey. I honestly don't know. Without the OCI players, I don't see any positive results from the Indian team. Yeah, but Vasanya, again, I know that, you know that, we know that. But um, that change is not happening tomorrow. Yes, but why to watch the match and what is it worth or purpose? I won't boycott. I also know boycott is not logic, but for what reason I should watch it? Shanata, if you watch it or not, nobody cares. So if you like it or not, nobody cares, right? And sorry, that's the case for, maybe I'm breaking a myth for a lot of football fans. Everyone says you are of value if you're buying something. As a football fan, a lot of people throw out numbers, but if you talk to the marketing guys in the top clubs, in the top federations around the world, they will tell you, you know what? For me, a fan is worth when he or she buys the jersey, right? So watching, not watching, who cares? Brazil officials have given statement about the boycott thing that they will go ahead with the match regardless of outside noise. Show them, as long as they get their money, they're going to play, right? And this boycott thing is not going to work. If the Indian football fan boycotts, the Indians who support Brazil, they'll turn up. So no point. Sir, have you ever had a talk with any top official for central government, in your opinion, how they review football in general? Yes, I have also speak to people. There are a lot of mistakes. Indian football does a lot of mistakes, to be very honest to you. And yeah, but yeah, those are realities of where we stand today. Things are not as good as I would like it to be, but that's the reality. The Telugu actors could have funded a club in Hyderabad or Vizag, but they choose to put money into the club in Kerala. They are true patriots. I don't watch their movies, but they have my respect. Are they patriots by investing into a Kerala club? I don't know, Yazoo. There are other things, other interests why they've done it, and but again, to call them patriots, I don't know. That's a big thing to say. I don't understand what is with people that they are giving random prediction about this Brazil game. Let it be any score and nothing is changed. Brazil gets the money, fans enjoy the thrashing. Trashing or maybe no trashing, no? Are they too focused on cricket and Olympics, Commonwealth, and football is the least priority? Except I don't think they're focused only on cricket, because what the government does for cricket, or the BCCI runs its own thing. So I don't think that they're focused. Yes, they're doing a lot of stuff regarding Olympics. Commonwealth Games was a priority this summer because the Commonwealth Games just happened. And of course, the Olympic bid, yeah. Thoughts on AFC CONCACAF UEFA Nations League proposal? I don't know where the AFC comes in, because I've only heard about UEFA and CONCACAF working together on this. Let's wait and see. Um, I don't know. Sounds nice, but again, it's political, right? UEFA and CONCACAF are trying to counter FIFA because FIFA is doing their own things. So to me, um, yeah, let's see. So to me, I don't know where the AFC comes in. In my opinion, we should give proposals to merge SAF and ASEAN into one competition anyway better than Brunei, Laos, and Cambodia. Utsav, where does this logic come from? The AFC has divided Asia into regions: West Asia, Central Asia, South Asia, Southeast Asia, East Asia. Khatam. Why should they merge? You guys come up with ideas which nobody thinks about and nobody bothers in the world of football, right? Which you might think make sense to you. It doesn't. Nobody has ever spoken about India leaving SAF and going to CAFA or going to ASEAN. But hey, Indian football fans, I don't know how many times I've heard this in the last, I don't know how many years. Nice that you've got time to think about these things, but none of these ideas are being discussed or have been ever looked at. The FIFA ASEAN Cup is the first time that ASEAN is considered. No, sorry, ASEAN is not even considered. The ASEAN Football Federation, the AFF, has never invited India, has never invited China. FIFA has done it. So these conversations, guys, don't exist in the world of football. They might be in your head. We are, for FIFA, we're important. ASEAN doesn't think we're important. East Asia doesn't think. CAFA and we had a partnership. What happened? We only took part once last year in the Senior CAFA Nations Cup. Bas, khatam. I do not put comma. I was saying ISL Women League. It was ISL comma Women's League. Acha, yeah, but Shanata, the ISL is not to blame on the AFF. It's on the clubs and the AFF, right? Yeah. So why not was a player follow Ryan Williams' part to play for India, adopt they really want or not? Because no Indian club is signing them. It's not on the players. Shan Hundal said on this very platform in 2 interviews over the last 3 years, I'm ready, I'm willing to leave North America, willing to come to India to play, you know? And to me, yeah, that's the reality. So for me, um, that is one practical example of someone's interest to come to India, but the contracts haven't worked out. Had it been the women's cricket team playing in age group and senior ICC tournaments, you would have scores of sponsors. Yeah, very true, Achut. That is the problem, right? Not even one corporate, not even one has come forward to sponsor women's football in India, you know? And sad, brutal reality, which, if you like it or not, is the reality. And if women's football needs to grow, we need money to come into that ecosystem, which is not coming. My biggest concern is that if we want to grow women's football and we don't have a commercial partner, there is no money within the AFF to actually push extra money into the system, right? We can blame the AFF for a lot of things, but in this current situation where the AFF is about, hey, we need to just about survive, very difficult. I will add Viren's book to my list to read someday. Next time you interview him, can you please ask him if he's interacted with the Kerala's investors and what is their intentions and goals? Yazoo, I don't think he is discussing it with that. He came back, in 2019 and he left. I don't think he's talking to them or is interested to talk to them. He has his own food business now, right? He's a co-founder of a burger chain in India. Has nothing to do. So Yazoo, and that's something I think you saw with his sort of diplomatic answer. I went to the stadium and I went to the stands, right? Someone like that, which I think is brilliant to do. Normally, someone with his background in that club should be invited into the VVIP box. So when you do podcast with someone, you have smile, but when you do live stream, you're always angry. I'm not angry. Shom, see, the point is with a Viren, that is a lovely conversation. That's a great conversation because it brought back a lot of great memories. Great memories, especially that match in the Nehru Stadium in Kalur. Brilliant. I and Viren and I had words about it. I said, those some of the things I hadn't even thought about, right? With the drummers and all that stuff, which automatically came to my mind, right? Um, is a different thing. Here, some of you say stuff which to me make no sense. So I might come across as grumpy, angry, uh, I think I know it better sort of character here. But for me, that's the most important thing. I need to, you know, if I was having a conversation with you, um, and you would be knowledgeable to the level that I am, then there would be a fun conversation. But it's not. It's you know. Um, so therefore, that's the thing. There was a lag. I couldn't hear it. Can you answer again about central government willingness to improve football? No, Utsav, there is no willingness to improve football, right? Yeah. Is there an willingness to improve sports or just talk about improving sports? That's the thing. Would it make sense for Tata to focus on funding women's soccer instead of men's? There's a great chance for women playing in the World Cup. Maybe if our women win, it will motivate more kids. Yazoo, they've not never invested in women's football from what I know in regard to a bigger scale. I don't think so. I won't think. And this whole World Cup thing, right? That is the every second it's moving further away from us. This whole FIFA Women's World Cup idea is great, but it's moving away because everyone around us is developing in Asia at the moment, right? Our biggest chance, and we threw it away, right? You know, in 2022 when we hosted the AFC Women's Asian Cup during COVID, and the only team which had to opt out was us due to a COVID outbreak, right? We hosted it. I think we could have gotten to the knockouts. I think realistically we could have qualified for the 2023 Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. Our best chance. We will never get a better chance. And as others, we are in the situation what's happened in men's football in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Everybody else is improving. We are stagnating or going down. Exactly the same thing is repeating itself at this very moment in our women's football. I hate to say that, but that to me is a reality. Sir, Maharashtra, one boy is suicide just because he wanted his family to pay iPhone 17 EMI. He jumped, his father jumped, his mother jumped from the mountains, only over in single second. I read the story. Um, yeah, so there's nothing much to say, you know. And to me, to me, it shows you the problem that if I, as a kid, don't understand that, right? Um, my father and my mother don't have the money for me to pay for an iPhone 17. Then I have to, you know, and the father must be thinking, I can't offer my son what he wants, and yeah, it's unbelievable tragedy, unbelievable tragedy. Namaskar, Devashish. Who are the favorites tomorrow? Devashish is the derby. It's, as I stated at the start, to me, it's 50-50, and but I say, yeah, I said 51-49. I guess Mohan Bagan, if I look at quality, but again, it's a 50-50. It's a derby. It's the final. Both the teams are not settled, so let's wait and see what happens. Good idea. If Tata also starts women's section TFA, we might get some good players. I don't think that they're gonna. I don't see. Let's see. Hi, Pikachu. Is there something cooking FIFA? I don't know, Pikachu. I've heard it as well from someone inside SAF saying, hey, we've approached FIFA to like the FIFA ASEAN Cup to create a FIFA SAF Cup. And I said this just a little while ago. To me, the FIFA ASEAN Cup is independent of the ASEAN Championship, which is just happening. And the FIFA Arab Cup is a North African Gulf sort of tournament, right? Which is also different. So therefore, for me, all of these things are a little different than what we're talking about at this moment in time. So for me, yeah, it's something which I need to remember, and so um, so therefore for me it's yeah. So therefore for me it's something which is, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's something which needs to be looked at. No, I mean, why can't two subdivision AFC co-host a single tournament? I'm not saying moving to other regions. Why would you two subdivisions co-host? What's up? Why? What is the interest of ASEAN to play with South Asia? There is no interest. I have my own tournament. Why would I increase the tournament for the sake of increasing it? Makes no sense. And everyone is happy per se with their size. You know, I'm happy to see, despite all these, a lot of girls have started playing football and sports in general. And also that's a great sign, no? Right? So that's a great thing. Kafa invited us. ASEAN also did. ASEAN did not, Utsav. It's a FIFA invitation. ASEAN has never invited us. So get that straight. ASEAN doesn't need. ASEAN has its own set of tournament. Just see what in the last few weeks, what craze there was across Southeast Asia because of the ASEAN Championship. This FIFA ASEAN Cup is also being made to something. Again, China opted out, you know, you know. So wake up to those realities. If football in India would have been like La Liga or Premier League, the Kolkata would have been the biggest derby in the world, not just in Asia, the greatest of all time players who play here. Devashish, yeah, lovely to think, but yeah, sadly far, far away from the realities of where Indian football and Kolkata football is at this moment and on these days. Many people say that women's will play World Cup first, and men, once they face better team, then they get thrashed 6-0. Sure, that's the problem because the standards of the others are going. And didn't I say that Japan is way too good for us, that we could lose 10 to 20 nil against Japan? And then a lot of people, made fun of me. And then in the end, none of these people. And this is the other thing I hate about a lot of people today in this world, right? When someone says the right thing and you were wrong, you don't say, you know what, XYZ said it right. You know? So nothing. So we feel with today's generation is more like show off these days. Like if you have certain item, then even I should own it. Revenue financial status is different. So just because one friend has fancy thing, it's not necessary for me to buy it. Shom, I don't know if it's a problem of today. Or maybe it has been around. Yeah, that's a problem, of course. Yeah. I don't get it. There are so many companies like Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Nike, they can adopt women's football in India for very cheap and be sponsored 25 years. I would take is like 4 million a year. Yeah, so why would I spend 4 million a year on Indian women's football as a corporate? For you, it might sound a little money. For them, it's not. Nike can't pick it up because we now are tied to Nivea. Coca-Cola and Pepsi will also look at the numbers. Indian women's football, is it a sellable product? I'm playing now devil's advocate for you guys. Is women's football a sellable product? Has the AFF has women's football done enough for it to be better sold in the market? And you and I know what the answer is. That's the sad part. I don't need to go out somewhere and say, no, it's not. Right? So for me, that is the biggest failure of women's football in the last year. That despite the sporting success, not one corporate has come forward. And if I see what our women's footballers have posted, what they have posted, okay, no one has shown an interest. All these big talkers about this, that, and Ochut said it right. If it had been, our women's cricket team, and I know some of the people who have been managing football players, some of them are now managing women's cricketers. They say, listen, forget Indian football, what we do. Women's cricket is X times bigger, right? So realities. Sports as a culture. Yesterday at our local park, my son kicked a ball far, and a mom was walking by. She turned around, passed it back to me with a perfect side push of a right foot. Her son was playing American football. Yeah, it's America, right? It's America. Uh, you know. So I don't know. I was caught up with playmakers, so I'm late for this podcast. As I said earlier, playmakers obsolete. Try chaos, Matt. Charakuri, times are different, but playmakers I still love to watch. And women's sport is a low hanging fruit for corporates to get brand value out of it. Women's playing in the World Cup would be millions of Indian eyes watching. Yeah, but yeah, so who? The problem is once they reach the World Cup, once they reach the World Cup, um, all fine. Your problem is, um, how do you get there? As generally with Indian sports, no. So let's see. But hey, what happened with Coca-Cola deal? There wasn't a Coca-Cola deal, show 'em. That was a charity thing for the under 17s. They gave them, I don't know, was it kit or some other stuff? It was not a deal. Coca-Cola came with the World Cup trophy and they did nothing. Rishabh, thanks for the 10 jewels. Thanks as always, not only you, but everyone who supports Arun Foot here. Always welcome that. Yeah. And let me take this opportunity to once more say, please, if you haven't liked, haven't, please subscribe. And 16 likes today. And Arun Foot needs your support. We need to grow the community of honest, truthful conversations on Indian football, which you get nowhere else on the net. 4,763. So we're going along nicely. And 4,763 is the number, as I say. So 237 now to reach the 5,000 mark. That's the next step. Follow me on Insta as well, where Arun Foot has grown nicely over the last few weeks, especially the OCI 11 seems to have gathered a lot of interest. We stand at 307 and 11. So we've grown again by 2-3 since the last conversation. Thank you for those supports. And yeah, as always, that support is needed. Otherwise, Arun Foot cannot grow. And thank you again for that. So many people say that Germany deserves this downfall with the way they treated Mesut Ozil. Who says that, Shom? Who are those people? I've never heard this. In Germany, nobody will say that. Again, some of the stuff that I hear, oh, this guy said this and that guy said that thing. Sorry. What happened to Mesut Ozil? Mesut Ozil sorry, to me, it's you know, it's it's I don't know. Yeah, I think Mesut Ozil has to be blamed himself, right? More than anything else, about what has happened to him. You know, so yeah. ASEAN invited us for the Club Cup back in 2001. ASEAN won it. It was only the Merdeka and Kings Cup that were invited in 70s. India was regular at Merdeka. Maybe because not many teams played at the time. We were never invited by ASEAN for the FIFA for the ASEAN Club Cup. Uchut, what was the name of the agency? Strata. Strata out of the United Kingdom, an agency, through whom also Stephen Constantine came to us. So I remember Stephen got in touch with me. I put him through to Albert, and then the rest is history. Strata came on. Strata organized the first ever and the last ever ASEAN Club Championship in 2003. I think it was wait 1 second. I think it was. Second, I think it was 2003, right? Sorry, let me just. Yeah, 2003. Because East Bengal won against BEC Terosasana, who were Champions League finalists that year. So we were not invited by ASEAN. Kings Cup is Thailand, Merdeka is Malaysia. Those were invitations because, as you rightly say, in the 70s, 80s, most of Asia didn't play football. Yeah. Do you think investing in futsal and futsal grounds can be a cost-effective way to improve technical abilities at youth and grassroots level? Does futsal have any role? Rishabh, there are two sides to it. So for me, playing small-sided fields, as you say, technically you improve. How good are you then 11-a-side? Right? I remember there was discussion about Kerala Sevens, right? Because the situation was that NP Pradeep came through Kerala Sevens, very successful, and became a box-to-box player. But very rarely do Kerala Sevens players make it to the proper 11-a-side football. So therefore, it has its advantage, disadvantage. My question to futsal ground: do we actually have proper futsal grounds? Because for us, futsal grounds are outside, right? Futsal actually is an indoor sport, as long as I know, right? So therefore, it has its advantages, disadvantages. You can use it in some sort of form way, surely. But the question is, who's teaching what? Because if futsal also has this thing about tricks and this and that and everything, so advantages and disadvantages. Goodbye, show. Time to sleep. Going to have sleepers to hit what Sitsa said today. Okay, I looked up the number. BCCI spends 20 million per year on women's grassroots cricket in India. Even if a corporate pays 6 crores like the Indian program for women, it would help big time. Yeah, but just no one's doing that. You're talking about 6 crores. No one is giving even 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs. That is the problem of our reality of our football. Forget women's football. Who's giving us 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs for the men's game at the moment? Right? There is no the sad part is there is no comparison on some of these things because we are so bad that we can't even stretch it close. That's the sad reality of things, right? For me, that is our biggest failure when I look at Indian football, that we are nowhere near where we need to be, where I would like us to be. We are nowhere near. biggest problem, right? And the funding part of football in India, men's or women's, is a big problem. It's a big problem. And yeah. So therefore, for me, um, it's yeah, it's um something which is something which is there, and it's I don't know how we can sort it. No, so to me, that's a problem. But let's see. Bangladesh women's football, a lot of that's why players are turning up for them just for the Japanese of Bangladesh origin. Yeah, that's my yeah. That's look at Afghanistan. Huh? Afghanistan has really done well in futsal. Any update on IWL with Capri, sort of IWL too? I know there are a lot of other things going on. Wanted to know. I don't know why the Capri deal is. I feel AFF wants to sort out ISL first. We've seen that also with the IFL. Sort out ISL first, then go to IFL, and then go to IWL. The Capri deal was on the table. I don't know why the AFF has not sort of signed it off, because no one else is going to give you any more money. Capri would give you organizational support. I thought it was a good thing. But the AFF is in financial problem. My experience as a player, normal five-a-side, fives, futsal and Nelson are different. You have to be technically very good as well as high EQ to adapt to the fine nuances of the two formats. Yeah, yeah. The futsal ball itself is a different one. Just power or skill won't work. Exactly. Ochut, there is a difference between, let's say you play Kolkata Moidans five-a-side or your corporate five-a-sides, which you, for example, play in Kolkata. Futsal, different, ball different, game different, much more technical, and 11-a-side is a totally different beast, I would say. So all of those things need to be kept in mind when you think about doing things, because to me, that's the challenge that one has, and yeah, and it's not an easy one. In Bangladesh, is Bangladesh better than us right now? Trubhajit, in the men's game for sure, right? If I look at the last two results, a draw in Shillong, a loss in Dhaka. So results wise, surely. The women's game, we are still better than Bangladesh because we've turned things around earlier this year in Goa. But overall, is Bangladesh better than us? I would think so. The idea is to let young kids start on futsal and then they can transition to level side football as they grow older, not for adults to play futsal and transition to football. Yeah, so the idea is nice, but where do I have those again, do I have these proper futsal grounds? If you're telling me you're playing with a futsal ball or an artificial turf outside, that's not futsal. Futsal is an indoor game. If you want to play proper, India doesn't play futsal in a proper way. Futsal is an indoor game on a hard, ideally wooden, flat surface, right? If you're playing that, and then you're saying you're playing outside on artificial or on natural turf, it's a different ball game altogether. So I don't know if we're talking about the same thing when we talk about futsal in a global context compared to futsal in an Indian context. Thoughts about school leagues. I feel schools already have a ground. Just invest in coaches at each school and make a league, and cricket players play for school, for academy, and also for district teams. Rishabh, I think there are different models in different parts of India. So again, this is school leagues can be for the big cities something. Some of the big cities have it already, to be very honest. Um, so therefore, for me, the question here is, um, how can it work, and what can work, and to me, there is no, school leagues could work. Again, sports teachers, PE teachers, you need specialized football coaches. Can it work? Who's going to set it up? Who's going to run it? There's a lot of technical questions at the back end, which I would have, right? But you have school tournaments, right? I know Kolkata has it. Northeast, they have it. Mumbai has it. Mumbai has the MSSA, which does football tournaments. Delhi has a football league as well for schools. So, but is it bringing us anything? Is it strengthening us, our football in any way? That at the end of the day has to be the core conversation about things, right? Futsal is played in Brazil in gullies like cricket is played in Indian gullies. No, it's not. So that's not futsal, no. See, that's futsal. There is futsal, there is futsal, Yasu. What they play in Brazil, and they don't play in gullies, no. They play on these hardcore pitches, right? They don't play on grass, right? So therefore, for me, um, the, we as kids, for example, in Germany, used to play on the streets. We used to play on roads, right? If we don't have access to a football field, so that is what. So therefore, what works or what happens in Brazil will not work in India, right? Some of them will tell you, listen, I played futsal. Others will tell you, listen, I used to play football on the beach. Yeah. Ochut, as an answer to Yasser, as kids, you always play small-sided games, four aside, five aside, six aside, seven aside, and then play 11 aside. Our coaches always did that. Futsal, as you know, is completely different. Like I played futsal only in adult life. Ochut, thank you for the explanation. And yeah, so therefore, for me, um, that's the main thing, right? That's why in Germany, for example, they're trying to create small-sided games with two goals, right? Three asides, four asides, five asides. So therefore, that's those are some of the things that we need to look at and try to build our things. But you said we have infra better than many World Cup countries, so why should we give exclusive infra for futsal? Can't with low resource something we started. Rishabh, our infra being better than others doesn't mean we have the infra needed. For example, futsal. Futsal to me is not the solution to our problems. I don't know who's been. I know it seems like certain people have been talking, but futsal is not the answer. We need to sort out our grassroots football. And people call futsal what, in my opinion, is not futsal. Futsal is a hard-court game. Hard floor, different size of ball, different weight of a ball, different rules, different game. It is not one-to-one grassroots youth football. So let's get that. Uchu tried to explain that to you. I've also played at senior level futsal, right? It's a different. It's yeah. It's the same sport with the ball, but it's a different game. So if you're good at futsal technically, so I remember last summer I was playing a charity football tournament, and German futsal national team player was in my team. Seven aside outdoors on artificial turf. In the first game, the guy killed everybody because he was so good. In the second game, he was physically finished because the seven aside field, artificial turf, was for that guy too big, and he was a German national team futsal player because he's not used to it. He was overpacing. So don't compare futsal, small-sided football, 11-a-side football. There are a lot of, not nuances, not actually quite a big number of differences on that. Professional bodybuilders use steroids to enhance their physique. As per time, very similar. Every country except us are using it. Sad to see the clear disadvantage we have. Shubhajit, I don't know why you're doing the generalization of professional bodybuilders use steroids. Professional bodybuilders, again, if you are in the right bodybuilding association, federation, whatever you want to call it, I think you're not allowed to use steroids, right? So therefore, but um, the example in some way, yes, goes in the right direction because to me the problem here is twofold, right? Because it's a let's call it a cheat code, right? Some sort of cheat code where you have not done your development work, someone else has done it for you. You know, you know. Uh, so therefore, to me, we are weakening ourselves. So therefore, you know, it's 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 something which could be done, but India, in its own arrogance, has not done in the last 25 years, right? I was telling someone high up in the Indian Olympic Association yesterday, we were talking about it. I said, listen, needs to happen. It's not actually tables. If it were only that, we would have been stuck with football and martial. Now it's more football in Bengal, Delhi, and Kerala. Eastern Command can handle national football. Okay. In US youth soccer at age 58, it's played five, I said. Yes, so there is no one single format. There are different formats that these guys use. And again, you and I should not be talking about US football. Let Uchu talk about it because he lives in the US, right? Is doping by players even a thing in India? Rishabh, wasn't an Indian athlete caught today with doping? I think it was, right? So doping is a problem, a massive problem, right? In athletics and wrestling, in boxing, in India's I think one of the highest offenders since the Russians have been thrown out of world sport. Rishabh, in Kolkata back in 90s, we had inter-school tournament organized by District School Sports Association, played Bunkim Cup. This was a regular tournament for many years. Other than that, you have invitational tournaments by different schools. Yeah, Uchut, very right. I remember I also played the Bunking Cup once with the Kolkata National School. And again, some of the stuff like this, right? You have school leagues across major cities. Is the quality good enough? No, it's not. That's your problem because the coaches are good enough. Hi, Blue. I didn't know Hockey World Cup is going on is comparable with Duran Cup PR. See, Blue, um, the problem of the Hockey World Cup is that whatever people say in an Indian context, it's a niche thing. If I like it or not, sadly, I have to say that the Hockey World Cup to me is niche. Um, Even though India is one of the big countries to play hockey, but is it I don't know how many people are following it. Right in Germany, for example, it's being shown. The Magenta TV is actually has a separate channel to showcase hockey, and they're showing all the matches. But are people bothering? No, it's today onwards. It's football, right? It's the German Bundesliga. It's the German Cup. Those are the conversations that you'll have. So the realities of things are, if I, you, we like it or not, that's the reality, right? And it's 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 brutal. So um, yeah, it's a big problem, and or it was and is a big problem, and sadly to me, so therefore, yeah, sorry, so therefore that's the thing, right? And very few watches hockey in India outside Olympics. I think, Blue, a lot of people don't watch a lot of sports outside of Olympics, right? There's Why do Olympic athletes crib when Olympics, oh, this, that, everything, because outside of Olympics people don't watch it. Reality, right? I even in the US too around my kids play youth soccer. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I didn't know that. But again, then you and Ochut explain to us. But again, different regions, different formats, right? I learned that someone was telling me the other day that US soccer is not the same here. And Ochut, correct me if I'm wrong. You said that at a certain level, youth soccer gets very costly in the US, right? That's what I think you said to me, right? So therefore, some of these things are realities. If you, I, we like it or not, and yeah, it's so therefore these are things, and um it's very important in my opinion, that you get. And but yeah, it's um very important, I guess. But again, how will you sort it out or not? That's always a question. um Question or not, it's it's a lot. So therefore, for me, youth football is something which is very important. Question is, how can you get it, get the results out of it? And not sure um, if you're going to get it. So for me, very difficult at the moment, right? How many games in a season should one play at U14 level? 30 to 40. Ideally, is 40. I don't think 40 is reachable. If you can get 30 matches, that would be great. Be it at school, be it academy, you know, and that's the thing. Will India play any more teams other than Brazil? Anything confirmed? No, nothing confirmed. I think even the whole Capo Verde hype. I don't think Capo Verde even knows that in India people are telling, oh, the match is sorted, match is done, and I think Capo Verde doesn't even know that. Um, so to me, a lot of conversations, a lot of things, but yeah, and So therefore, for me, let's see. I think 6th of October, India wants to play a second game. I think Kochi is the preferred venue, and therefore India needs to figure out who can they play? Who wants to play us? Is also a question, right? It's not just we want to play. No, who wants to play us? Not we want to play you. Who wants to play us? And that's the difficult part for the AFF now. Brickbats are always going to be there when your team loses and the opposing team fans want to beat you up. That's the only time hockey sticks on the bet came handy academy level. Okay. Chaudhuri, right. 1 hour, 41 minutes. Once more, the reminder, if you haven't, please do give it a like, give it a share. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. 15 of you watching. Yeah, please, 17 likes now. And if you haven't, I know a lot of you are watching it afterwards. Do give it a subscription. Help me grow the Arunfoot family. 4,763 is where we stand. And I repeat myself, do watch my short content videos, which I try and do on a daily basis. Again, a little longer today, my interview with Virendra Silva about his book, the first season, him being the CEO of the Kerala Blasters. I think it's a very insightful interview and conversation. And it was a big walk back into memory lane, I think, for both of us. Loved it. Do watch that. I did something in could YouTube be a good solution for ISL broadcast? So that could be and interesting. I saw since yesterday, and a lot of people picked up the idea, right? The video hasn't got that many views, but it seems like I pushed something, and then suddenly a lot of people are talking about it. Also, earlier this week, FC Goa and East Bengal's opponents in their respective continental game. Should you be able to sell ISL or IFL teams to lower division clubs? That's the conversation. My challenge with Desi ballers in regard to the OCI starting 11 is something which it makes, and then go down all of that. Thank you very much as always, and do watch all those videos. If we actually played Brazil Cup with them, New Zealand data and we confirm position in round one, Blue, I would think so. We would have to pull off a real crazy one in one of those games. Again, Brazil is confirmed, New Zealand is confirmed, Capo Verde, no idea. I don't even know who we're set to play in that time frame. In US, every kid sport is played at two levels: intramural and travel team. First one is for fun. Second one is serious and very expensive. You have to spend $3,000 to $4,000 US dollars per year. Intramural, you may spend $600 per year. So that's interesting. You explained that to me, Ochud, once a while back, which I find insane to think. So therefore, in America, to play a sport like football is actually quite costly, right? So therefore, that is something that we need to remember when we talk about it. And yeah, therefore, that's something which if I talk about, and we talk about it, it's a crazy one to think about. But um, to me, sports in America is expensive, and this is the other thing. In India, you want to have it on the cheap. The outcome is when you want something on the cheap, right? So that's the thing. Sen, was the last time India lost 7 or 8 million margin? Oh, Vikas, that's a good question. When was the last time? It's been a while, So, um, one second, let me just check. Um, don't remember. Don't actually remember. Mm, 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 mm. Last time I remember, when was the last time we? Honestly, I don't remember. We lost in 2004 to Japan. Mm, that's the last time I remember. I wouldn't know, honestly. What is cheap in the US anyways? Blue, compared to us, I would say food. Food is cheaper in the US than here. In grassroots football, do parents help as volunteers? It's done in other countries. No, Bishop. It's always paid staff. I think volunteering in Indian sports doesn't exist in that way, if I'm right. 500,000 is the monthly salary of AFF CEO. By Google standards, CEO of Google pay 2,000 per year. Who earns more? I think they have to see job satisfaction. AFF doesn't have a CEO. So I don't know where you're getting your figures from. Chalikadu. Chalak Kudi Tales. Sorry. We don't AFF doesn't have a CEO. We lost by big margin to UAE under Steamach. I think that was a 6-0 in a friendly in 2021. Yeah, that I remember. But otherwise, India's not lost heavily, right? In the recent past. I mean, there were matches, right? Uzbekistan could have taken us to the cleaners in the Asian Cup, which they didn't. It was just 3-0. So we normally lose by 2-3 goals, right? We haven't been beaten heavily, but the difference is actually there, right? In the women's game, those results have come. In the men's game, I don't remember us being heavily beaten in the last few years, to be honest. Do you think by looking at the current situation, the Genius Sports deal could be better, or in the future 2 to 4 years we should go for commercial partner? Indian clubs are not capable of doing league. Harsh, to me, the Genius deal, I don't know. I don't know if it would have been better or not. Again, because to me, Genius, I don't know if Genius would have actually pulled through with everything. Do they have the manpower? So therefore, for me, I don't know. And let's see. Let them build, and then we'll have to discuss and see where we stand. But to me, at the moment, let's see. In intramural, parents are volunteer coaches. In travel team, professional coaches teach your kids almost every weekend. They play home and away games, hence the cost. That makes very much sense, Ochud. We lost 6-0 against UAE, I think, in 2021, in Dubai. As well as mostly 3-0. Yeah, 2-0, 3-0 blue is what I also thought has been a very standard loss result for India in the last few years. As sad as it sounds, but that's the reality of our football. And um, to me, that's the problem, right? And yeah, I don't know if we can get out of that. But we've lost too many games in the recent past, but like a 1-0 against Zimbabwe and all that's what I'm saying. We have a decent defense, even with Jamaica. Well, Australia, we were born defenders with poor attack. I don't think so, because I think if other teams, we are not born defenders. That's the one thing. I don't know where you're getting that from. I know you're putting a smiley emoji in there. If again, Uzbekistan to me or Australia, Asian Cup, good examples. They could have taken us to the cleaners. They didn't, luckily, right? Sometimes you're lucky, and we've been very lucky in the recent past with our results, I would say. We aren't born defenders, just we get lucky somehow by not, but not lucky enough. Yeah, blue, perfect. We are lucky enough not to get thrashed, but we're not lucky enough to actually get a surprise draw or maybe an upset win. The last time I can remember an upset win was actually 2001 against the UAE 25 years ago, right? Yeah, and so therefore for me, and you know, and so therefore I don't know when we're going to beat a big team again in the near future. Hi, Samat. How real is the sports passport thing? Honestly, how different is from previous such news? Are they actually serious about it, or is it not just an apparatus regarding the Olympics? Samat, I've done now multiple videos on this, and people keep on asking me this for multiple times. You know what? Just watch my timeline. There are multiple videos on this OCI sports passport topic. I gave a timeline 3 months ago where I said it will take most probably up to 2 years to get in place, because we're looking at the LA Olympics, we're looking at the 2030 Commonwealth Games, and we're looking at a bid to host the 2036 Olympics. That's a timeline. It has nothing to do with football. And is it different? No. It is massively different because we never had such news. So I don't know where you're saying previous. Previous news they have put out there, oh, we're working on it. Right? So, and so therefore, yeah, just there again, some of you, I answer all your questions, but some of the stuff that you ask is there on my timeline in explainer videos for 6 to 8 minutes. Do the effort, scroll a little, right? Scroll a little, because a lot of the questions that are asked, I think you can watch 3, 4 videos, spend a little bit of half an hour, and you'll have all your answers in there. And then you can come back and ask me more in-depth answers, because we're remaining at this shallow level, right? Let's get into deeper conversation. Yes, players from St. Thomas country show playing fives and sevens and left cross UAE. Okay. I hope Brazil play their best football versus even with the B team. It will be a wake-up call and powers that B will see the reality of AFF and Kalyan Chow with team losses will be bad. Rishabh, I don't know who will wake up if we lose 4, 5, 6, 7 nil. I don't think so. You know, I I don't think it is. I don't. Who's going to wake up? My question is, who's going to wake up and who's going to realize the realities of things in Indian football? I don't know. People need to then explain to me who's sleeping. You know, and so yeah, that's the reality. Don't worry, we will win against Brazil. Just make Instagram influencers to coach the team. Oh yeah, Blue. I think let's start a campaign. India to beat Brazil. Yeah, right. And there will people believing all of that. That's the crazy one, right? Um, so to me, it's yeah. Some people are too negative, some people are too positive, and I actually try to say, listen, from a 1-0 loss or a 3 or 4-1 loss to a 10-0 loss, all is possible. A 1-0 India win, brilliant. Should U21 quota need to implement ISO to give game time to young players? No. Harsh, if you're not good enough to play, again, quota in sports, in playing 11s or in starting whatever, 11s, 15s, 7s, whatever your number of players is, the player don't have to fight for their spot. It is counterproductive. You can have an under 21 quota or, or some sort of homegrown rule for players to be in your match day squad. But this, to me, doesn't work. We only spring into action when we're embarrassed or humiliated or only after crisis. Case in point, 1991 liberalization. Rishabh, don't compare economic hardship with the hardships of Indian football. Let's say India lose 7-8 to Brazil. What will be the headline? Oh, as expected, India lose that heavy to Brazil. Right? And so therefore, for me, I don't know what we're expecting from this game to happen. It will happen. Brazil will get their money. Certain people will be entertained, and we all go home and then hope things will improve. Khatam. Nothing more, nothing less. Yes, we can't win versus Brazil, but we're also not going to lose big like 10-0. They're also player, human, not ghost. Because why not? If they get into a flow, we disintegrate in the second half. That is possible. I hope not, and you know, so that's the point. Didn't Sunil Chhetri already start playing senior level at 16 or 17? Globally, also good players start playing senior football after 18, 19, actually without quota. I don't know when Sunil started playing at City Club in Delhi. I guess he was 17 or around it. And good players, yeah, at 18, 19, actually 17 to 19 get their first chances. So this whole quota thing for me, again, our players are so spoiled who are coming through the youth system, and then in India under 20s, under 23s, they're not pushed. So and with this under 21 quota, you're gonna have even less push, right? You're creating spaces for these players, and it's like, oh, you know what? It's not needed. Just come, turn up, because you're gonna get the spot anyway. Where's the push? And so to me, a lot of these things are problems at different levels, and I honestly don't know how we're going to solve them. Right? It's so yeah. So therefore, for me, it is something which is there, and So for me, it's I don't know. It's something which is um, which will give us something, but I don't know where and how it can give us something. Right? So that's my problem. Their first goal shouldn't come early, else we're doomed. Yeah, Blue, that's the main thing, right? We shouldn't concede in the first 15, 20 minutes. We shouldn't concede like 2, 3 goals in the first half. then it gets tough, and we will have substitutions and this and that. And again, that's all the problem. Can a 7, 8 month U21 league increase the quality of players because the main difference occurs after 18 years because lack of matches? Harsh, theoretically, yes, but who's going to pay for it? Harsh, it, you know what? One thing I have to tell you guys, what Indian football is not a problem in regard to ideas. Indian football's biggest problem is funding at all levels. Some of the things that you might think, why don't they do it? It's so logical. You know what? People have thought about it, but they don't know how to fund it. And that's your problem, right? 7, 8 month league, yeah, why not? There was, a B team league. So therefore, for me, all of that is great, but who's going to pay for it? That's why Reliance Foundation Young Champs is the best model at the moment that we have. We don't have anything better, right? Why are we unable to create proper youth leagues across India? Because the AFF has to push the state association, not all, but a lot of state associations to do their things. That's the problem. Thanks for this wonderful podcast. Welcome. Chalaku details. Is Govind Singh the best goalkeeper in India? Yes, Rishabh. Tell me anyone who's even close to him at the moment. There is none. Right? Gurpreet at international level is a class above the rest. Reality. If you, I, we like it or not, GSS is still the best. Simple. Gurpreet is just better than the others. And that's tough, you know. Um, but the younger ones or the others are not pushing him enough. Khalid will park the spaceship. Yeah, but Blue, the spaceship needs to be then sat on the ground, right? It can't float around because then the ball can go under the spaceship. I don't know what he will park, if he's going to park a double-decker bus. Um, yeah, so I don't know what he'll try to park. Um, we need to create some attacking instincts. We shouldn't be playing Argentina versus Spain where you're defending for 120 minutes. Right. So let's wait and see. Till when does Khalid have his contract? Next summer, if I'm not wrong. I think it runs until next summer is the contract length of Khalid Jamil, if my knowledge is right, so to say. Yeah, if I'm as I said, my knowledge is right. I think Khalid's contract runs until next summer. Realities of things, right? So yeah, these are things, right? It's some of the stuff is crazy to think about that we have to talk about it. So but that's where we are in the year 2026. Um, you know, so this is the thing. You remember at any time when the AFF technical committee was actually good on rubber stamp, who were the good members? Should be, yeah, the AFF had good technical committees. Don't ask me for names now because difficult. I wouldn't get the names together at the moment, but yeah, they've had. But again, the the point with the technical committee is, and we're talking about technicalities. So who are the right people, right? We think ex players, ex coaches are the right one, rather than people who are still in the system, and that's the problem, right? That's a problem where who are the advisors of Kalyan, right? I would tell that someone like a Richard Hood needs to be back in some sort of advisory capacity with the AFF and use his knowledge, understanding, his brain regard to future of Indian football. Because a lot of people who are doing things football in this committee or being advisors to the AFF or even in the Exco, they talk about football in the 1990s or in the 2000s. They're not talking about football in 2026 or in 2030 or 2050, 40, 50. That is where we need to get our conversations. So that is where the challenge lies, where we need to get Indian football to. And that's a tough one. That was a tough one, is a tough one. And I don't have an answer for you to say how could it be better. Because also if we change the technical committee, we change the AFF, the rest of the system is still the same. So that's the thing, right? Where it is. Uh, Khalid got the best matches out of any recent coaches. Forget recent coaches. If you think that Khalid Jamil and India played in London against uh, uh, Jamaica and Zimbabwe. So you played a team from North America, you played a team against from Africa. We played Tajikistan after that, so we played team from Asia. We're set to play Brazil, so we're set to play a team from South America. And in November, we're set to play New Zealand, a team from Oceania. The only thing missing would be playing a team from Europe, um, even though India played in Europe because we played in England. I think Khalid, I don't think, I'm sure Khalid Jamil is going to be the first ever Indian national team men's football coach at senior level in a calendar year, or less than in a calendar, actually in a 6 month period, to have covered all confederations of the world, so to say. Again, the match against the European team was missing, but he played in Europe. So if you're saying got the best matches of any recent coaches, no, he's got the best matches ever of an Indian national team coach. Blue. Just think about it. Insane. Actually, I've never thought about this. Thanks for raising this point. You know, so to me, um, you know, um, crazy thing to think, but hey, welcome to the world of college gymnasium. But people say the system will have a conflict of interest, right, with the clubs they are part of. No, Rishabh, the point to me is who makes up a state body, a national body around the world? The German Federation is made up of regional bodies and the Bundesliga clubs. So when, let's say, Hans-Joachim Watzke, now, of course, no longer active at Borussia Dortmund in the first row, active in the second row, when he was CEO of Borussia Dortmund, he was CEO of Borussia Dortmund, he was part of the executive board of the Bundesliga, and he's part of the German Football Federation. Where, so as per your logic, conflict of interest, conflict of interest, conflict of interest. No, he knows which hat he's wearing when. Prime example of this in Indian football, it is a conflict of interest because the people don't know which hat to wear, when and where. Valanka Lamau, good example. She's always in the AFF fighting for Churchill Brothers, where actually you should, in some stages, you need to fight for Churchill Brothers. Sometimes you need to fight for Goa. Sometimes you need to fight for Indian club football. Sometimes you need to fight for women's football. That is what she doesn't do. So League One get the broadcast in India. Elebena, I have not heard anything. There were talks, but nothing has been announced or finalized. Our luck is so bad we got the puzzle wrong every time. Yeah, Blue. If Kalya not played single match in senior team, then why he called an eminent player? Because he was a top level player in the NFL, right? You don't have to be an eminent player to have played national team, I guess, would be my logic. So we're expecting to see such matches before AFF elections. Rahul, this has nothing to do with the AFF elections. I'm fed up with this thing that's being done. The AFF election will be decided 7 to 10 days before the election, right? So, you know, so to me, there are so many things being said by so many people who don't have a clue, who don't understand the basics of things. Indian football's biggest problem. We have clueless people in the federation, in the clubs, and also people speaking about football. Something fixed and something else is scrambled. Yeah, Blue. We are a mess of a magnitude of a level which I think nobody can explain in the world. Potential. Biggest mess in the world. Right. This is the sad part to me, as you rightly pointed out, that I'm just realizing that with the right coach, with the right foreign coach, we would have gone maybe the one other better result, but we would be not as bad as we are at this moment. Igor Stimac, Manolo, and Khaled have taken us down the gutters in the last 3 years. Will Churchill was need to change their name to play in ISL? Harsh, let's wait and see. Um, Again, the deal to me doesn't work because they got relegated to the third tier, but no one has raised the topic. Uh, you know, um, let's see. Then says suddenly, why is AFF bringing such teams? I wonder, as OFC, it's costly, and AFF is such miser bankrupt too. Rahul, there was an offer, there was an opportunity. That's why the Brazil match is happening. In the past, offers were there to play other teams. AFF always said no. This time they said yes. Right? So therefore, for me, AFF has been lucky. They're invited to the Unity Cup. They could have gone to Africa, to Uganda, which didn't happen. Then they went to Tajikistan, also invited. New Zealand happened because India and New Zealand government were talking. These things are not interlinked, no? And the Brazil thing, there is a lot of stuff in the background why this match is happening, but it has nothing to do with the elections. Let me tell you that very, very clearly. But again, a lot of people will tell you, oh, it's election linked and he's pushing his agenda. No, the election will be decided in December, 7 to 10 days before. The last election was decided 3 days before it was decided, right? It's this PR won't work. Who votes in state federation elections when this election happen? Districts or clubs? So when we get confirmation, Capo Verde friendly and one more friendly. Elebena, there is no Capo Verde friendly at the moment, so there's no confirmation. And the other friendly, I don't think. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens. A lot of stuff happening in the background. Let's wait and see what happens. Right, more than 2 hours. Let me slowly come to an end on this Saturday evening here on Arunfoot. Sir, don't you feel kind of surprised to suddenly why are teams like Cape Verde accepting us, then why the Bangladesh the news they also want Brazil? Cape Verde has not accepted us. So this is don't believe everything that people are putting out there. Cape Verde has not even acknowledged wanting to play us. You know? Yeah. So that's the thing. Churchill fans pointed Mono relegated but played in top league before and they also merged and played another. Blue, watch my video and send it to people who tell you that can you sell ISL IFL clubs to people. I've explained it at length that it says, let's if the Brazil match budget is 30 crore and 70 crore and 30 crore provided by well, is the match and 50 crore, the FA will be in 10 crore profit. Let's wait and see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay, whether Brazil Bangladesh, my question, sir. Where they supposedly talking to Bangladesh? Who tells you that? Rahul, you guys believe what people put there out there on social media or in reports. 90% of stuff around this Brazil game, about Capo Verde game, about Capo Verde, 99% of stuff is wrong. Capo Verde has not acknowledged anything so far. If that match happens, that will be decided in the coming days. Capo Verde has agreed to nothing with us so far. Why are you believing? Blue, good night. And I'll also end this after nearly or about 2 hours and 8 minutes, means 128 minutes of this live. Guys, one last request. Don't believe everything that is being put out there on social media, even in media reports. Most of the information at the moment around this Brazil game are wrong. Everything. Right? Be careful. And a lot of people are saying a lot of things, so therefore, this thing. Rahul, I'm going to make a video on this. I don't agree with Baichung. Totally rubbish. And I'll make a video on it tomorrow. And I've spoken about it length. Rewatch this live. I always say, people, there's so much of content in regard to discussions that we have on these lives. Please watch the lives if you're not, and that's the thing. And yes, I'm going to watch Dortmund Bayern now live. That's why I want to end this live now, because I want to go and watch the game, enjoy myself. And I'll be back. Not sure if tomorrow, maybe but local football, most probably not. But on Monday, I should be back. And I'll be doing something on this whole boycott discussion. Watch that. Good night, Rahul. Good night, everybody else. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be back with another Indian football and more discussion. Bye, everyone.